Today I'm going to show you something that's usually not for sale at an estate sale or places like that, but it's something that I can still buy that will sell for some phenomenal money. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at a very unique item, something that usually I don't see for sale, but that I am usually able to purchase. Today we're talking about curtains, vintage and collectible curtains, something most people would never assume carries any kind of crazy value, but some of these can sell for some monstrous money, as we'll show you right now. Now, many times when I go to, say, an estate sale, there'll be curtains hanging up on the wall, maybe in the den or something. It'll be an old house, and there'll be some vintage curtains hanging. 99% of the time, there will never be a price on them. They won't even think about selling them. They're using them for curtains still. If I offer people a good amount of money, a reasonable amount on them, most of the time I can just take them off the wall and walk out with them as well. Curtains can sell for some phenomenal money. This is a silk pair with pom-poms on the ends of it as well. This is from France. It's lined, it's padded. This will block out sun. It even has some issues, some spots, some damage on the lining on it, as you can see up there also. It still went for over $1,000 because of what it is. It's silk, it's original, it's from the 1930s. Most people would not assume curtains like this will go for this kind of money. Even single panels can go for some phenomenal money. There's a ton of collectors of fabric, and that is why people buy these. Now, one of the ones I always look for is what's called bark cloth. It's very rough. It feels like bark. This looks to be a fine example of it. Mid-mod century, masquerade, party theme, going to lounge, a bar, something like that. People will still use these. They'll have them dry cleaned, the whole works. You can fix them up. Now, the bark cloth was meant to last, so these are usually still in very fine condition. And this pair went for $600. Now, lace and needlecraft ones can go phenomenally well also, like you see here. Now, it's very unique. A lot of these are just machine-made, but they're vintage. They're finely detailed. This person sold 2 of these and still has another one. So they had 3 pairs of them and are selling them at each pair for almost $400. So they sold $800 almost at this point with 2 pairs of these. Now here's some more bark cloth, as you can see. It's an interesting style pattern. Again, people still use these. A very fabulous design, as you can see. Japanese garden, maybe a Chinese garden. It's interesting. It's unique. And it sold for $285. Here's another fabulous bark cloth. You've got swans on it. Just an interesting pattern here. These are all mid-mod century classics in my book. And they're worth every penny they sell for, in my opinion. They're fabulous pieces. $277 for this one here. Now, here's a very unique one. This is from the 1970s, and this is Mary Mushrooms. This was mass-produced at one time and could be ordered through Sears. It literally has mushrooms lining up all around it. There was a whole theme set for the kitchen of these mushrooms. You can get canister sets, there's china plates, and the whole works that all go along with this. Most all of these sell for hundreds of dollars. There's many of these up because it was mass-produced, as I said. So this is something you can find, and most people won't assume at all that these carry any kind of value. I have found these at thrift stores in the past on several occasions as well. Now, just like in china and dishes, there are specific patterns that can be used in curtains. This is a cottage cabbage rose. Now, it's ivory is the background. It's very well-known design. A similar one is found on depression glass as well. And these 6 panels went for $274. This is something you may find in a linen room, up in an attic, in a basement, out in a garage as well. Thrift stores, assuredly, we found them at church sales, auctions, and even antique malls in the past. Themed ones do phenomenally well. This is a Western-themed bark cloth curtain here. Even individual panels, as I said, can go for some decent money. $299 for this one here. And yet another example of a bark cloth curtain here. This is just leaves. That's all it is. These are usually ugly to most people, but the uglier, the better in my book. They sell for more money the more bizarre they are. This one sold for $279. Now here's another example of something most people miss. Crushed velvet. I don't care what it is. If it's crushed velvet, it's vintage, it's original, it's in good condition, it sells. Bedspreads, sheets, curtains, anything that's in crushed velvet goes for some phenomenal money. They don't make them anymore. It's out of fad, but it's just one of those, I guess, gaudy pieces that everybody has to have. They always sell and they always go for some pretty darn good, decent money. This one went for almost $200. Now here's yet one more example of a bark cloth, and this is just some big gaudy floral designs here. Now this is reminiscent of Miami to me. It looks like something you may see in the movie Scarface. They've even added the word Miami into the title. And it's really a spectacular lot of them right here, $195. Now, character-related curtains go phenomenally well. When I was a child, I had Star Wars curtains, bedspread, the whole works in my bedroom. This is a Holly Hobby. It's actually marked as such as well. It's a unique, interesting design. It's large. It has the complete set, including what looks like the valance top pieces also. $176. It doesn't have to be super old. There's curtains that are being made right now that you can find secondhand that can sell for some pretty darn good money. Now, here's another example of a character-related one. This is a Disney Robin Hood. It's vintage, it's original. They made these going back into the 50s. It is something that you can still turn up. Many people may not realize the age on these sorts of things. A lot of people assume there's no value in a linen closet, but that is never the case in my book. This one as well sold for over $200. Now here is an example of some of the Star Wars versions of these. This is an Empire Strikes Back set. Now it's curtains and a bedspread. Usually they were sold in a set. You could buy extra curtains on their own as well. We even had wallpaper from Star Wars in my bedroom back when I was a child also. This little lot here went for $130 basically. Now, most characters of the day, they did make these sorts of things. Going back to Roy Rogers curtains, you've got Hanna-Barbera characters from the 60s, Disney characters, movie-related, comic book and cartoon-related, like this He-Man set here, which sold for $180. Now, you can actually find them for tons and tons of characters. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Thor. Tons of those sorts are out there. I've seen them for Garbage Pail Kids. Obviously, we talked about Star Wars. I've seen Battlestar Galactica. Anything like that. Any tie-in they could think of, they did. Most of these sorts were available through catalogs, such as JCPenney's and Sears. They were specialty items. Even wallpaper would be able to be purchased with these items for kids' rooms. Anything they could do to market it that way. And when you ordered it through a catalog, they could control the quantity because they would know how many were ordered ahead of time before they actually produced the item. So that was always a big bonus. They would have guaranteed sales before they ever ran a print run of curtains like this. And here's one more example of a character-related one, modern, just made, out in the wild. You could still turn these up and they still will sell for decent money. Obviously from Star Wars, Mandalorian, Baby Yoda. Over $60 for this one, and they've already sold 6 of them. So they are still making these sorts of things. They're still collectible regardless of the age. One last call out, fabric curtains of any kind that show geometric patterns like this will always go for some decent money. If this fabric was new or old, it would still sell for some nice money like this here. If you're unaware, fabric is extremely expensive. So any of these geometric patterns, old or new, will sell for some pretty good money. This one here went for $145. Now let me add just one more dimension to this. You can do wholesale curtains. You can buy them in bulk. So if you're smart, you're wise, you have a good eye for certain things, you can run into massive bulk lots of these. You can, again, buy them directly from the manufacturer in many cases and get them at a wholesale price. These are something you can sell on most platforms. You can sell these on Etsy, you can sell them on eBay, and even on Amazon you can sell the bulk or even the wholesale. Even vintage could be possibly sold in the vintage collectibles section on Amazon. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
another planet with a cereal as big as honeycomb?
Inhabitant of Vesuvius!
The starship Honeycomb.
Our cereal is bigger than yours.
Impossible, Earthlings.
We'll prove it.
If you fail, you're doomed.
This is our cereal.
And this is honeycomb.
Ah, Honeycomb's big and it's got a big bite.
Post honeycomb cereal's part of a balanced breakfast.
Take honeycomb for your planet.
My people will love the big bite.
Is there another planet with a cereal as big as honeycomb?